Sure. For some time, probably a decade or more, at least since the finger trial, we've known or had a strong reason to believe that multimodal lifestyle interventions are beneficial for the spectrum of Alzheimer's disease to prevent cognitive decline and perhaps have other beneficial effects. And so we wanted to do a prospective randomized controlled trial, basically test that hypothesis again, but also to do it with a systems biology approach to data analysis, where we measured thousands of analytes in the blood as well as neurocognitive outcomes and other measures to try to truly move forward a mechanistic understanding of if it does work, why does it work? And so we've approached Alzheimer's disease both to sort of test this hypothesis, do multimodal lifestyle interventions work, and also to understand why. And along the way, we think we can revolutionize clinical trials in general, not just for Alzheimer's disease. We think all clinical trials should be generating dense data so that they can get better knowledge than we've been getting in the last century. I mean, to start with, we're using mostly telephonic coaching. So we're calling people up, of course with professional coaches, usually with RNs or other degrees, and asking them to change their diet and exercise. You'd be surprised at the number of people who scoff at that and say, well, that's not going to change anything. So just from the get-go, I have to prove that I can call you up and change your blood. And we've proven that in spades. It's not a simple, we're changing the way you eat, we're changing the way you exercise, and as you can imagine, there's many, many molecules that change in your blood. But then I've set a higher bar for that, right? And which of those are driving cognitive improvements? And so we're probably underpowered yet. We've done sort of a pilot type trial, maybe phase 1 or phase 2-ish, depending on how you define trials. And so to really get a comprehensive understanding of everything that's important would require a bigger trial than we did. But we do feel that we scraped the surface. So we found, if you will, the low-hanging fruit, perhaps, the ones that we had the most statistical power to see. And also because we're systems biologists, we're a little bit less interested in the question you asked, which is which analyte is changing as opposed to which subsystems are driving it. So we're interested in, is there an anti-inflammation component? Is there a change in metabolism? And ultimately, we want to figure out which interventions are the best for each person. So at least in the COCA study, what we've seen is some decent evidence that at least 2 subsystems are involved, probably being driven by diet and exercise. And those include an immune or inflammatory subsystem, as well as a subsystem that seems to be driven by dietary changes. So probably caloric reduction and maybe a reduction in red meats. These aren't terribly surprising because we've kind of long suspected that those could be important, and yet it's kind of cool to see that.